Almost everyone has heard of the term evolution, but what exactly it is? Evolution is simply development of life that began billions of years ago and is still continuing till this day.
Charles Darwin made two plans about living creatures. First, all living things on this earth are related. They evolved from a common ancestor. Second, the evolution of living things is powered by natural processes, things which can be studied and understood. But is there any evidence that these plans are true? Yes. With your arm on a flat surface, push your thumb against your pinky and tip your hand slightly up. If you see a raised band in the middle of your wrist, you have got a vestigial muscle in your forearm. That tendon you see connects to the palmaris longus, a muscle that around 10 to 15% of people are missing on one or both of their arms. It doesn't make them any weaker though. There's no difference in the grip strength. It's not the only leftover muscle that we have got. Look at three that are attached to our outer ear. We can't get much movement out of these muscles, especially compared to some of our mammal relatives who use them to locate the sources of sounds. Presumably, this would have been quite helpful for early nocturnal mammals. You can see another futile effort by vestigial body parts when you get goosebumps. When we are cold, tiny muscles attached to our body hairs contract, pulling the hair upright, which causes the surrounding skin to form a bump. For our furry mammal relatives, the raised hair increases the amount of space for insulation, helping them stay warm. Birds can too do this. You have probably seen a puffy pigeon on a cold day. Adrenaline is one of the most important hormones in the body's response to cold temperatures, and it's also part of flight or fight response. So it helps some animals appear larger when they're threatened, and it may be why surprising and emotional turns in music can give some people goosebumps. And then there's our tail. At the end of our spine, a set of fused vertebrae. Some people have 3, some have 5. We call it the tailbone. It now serves as an anchor for some pelvic muscles, but it's also what's left of our ancestors' tail. In many other animals, it continues to develop into a proper tail, but in humans, the cells in the tail are programmed to die a few weeks after they appear. Very rarely, though some kids are born with a tail.
Now that we have understood evolution, we will get into more depth of the concepts and theories evolved and that are associated with it. Two most important theories in the evolution are survival of the fittest and struggle for existence. Survival of the fittest or natural selection is a process by which organisms best suited to the environment becomes the ones most likely to survive and leave descendants. This process is sometimes known as survival of the fittest. Organisms leave their descendants and become more evolved to the response of their changes in the environment. For example, such as climatic changes and food supply changes. And they leave their old, less useful traits and become engaged to more useful traits. Second is struggle for existence. All organisms on this earth are constantly struggling for existence, primarily because of tendency toward overpopulation. All organisms must compete with each other for the food, water and space. Now let us take a look at some of the mysteries of evolution. What are the mysteries behind it?
Why do humans walk on two legs? Why don't we have fur? Why do we have big brains? Why do women have orgasm? Why did our ancestors leave Africa? Why appendix is still existing in a body?
Now we will look at what we would evolve in the future. Almost every individual looks to artificial skins and radiation. With continual exposure to skins and radiation, our eyes would become bigger and larger in size. This would enable our eyes to see more clearly and more visibly. Space sciences and technology would enable humans to live on different planets, which would change our body structures according to different climatic conditions of the planet. Earlier, hairs were used to protect ourselves from extreme climatic conditions. There were usually more hairs around the genital areas. They were used to protect ourselves from extreme climatic conditions, but now with the advancement in artificial climate control technology, our body hairs would decrease tremendously in future due to this. Since we are learning every day new things and new words, our brain size would increase tremendously in future. This would enable our brain to work more effectively with increased space.
Now let's summarize. The development of life on Earth is called evolution. Evolution goes on forever, which is quite beneficial. At last, evolution is just a theory, but don't try to underestimate it.